Hello, and welcome to our podcast, episode number 29. One man's incredible struggle to survive on Mars against all odds. I'm Thomas, and as always, here with me, my old friend Timothy. Today, we are going to talk about a film called The Martian. There will be spoilers. The Martian is a 2015 science fiction film directed by Ridley Scott about an astronaut's struggle to survive on Mars after being left behind and the efforts of NASA to rescue him. To start with, I quite enjoyed the film, as I generally like fiction. Tim, so did you like The Martian?
Well, Tom, I must say that I found The Martian quite lackluster compared to some of the other films we've discussed on this podcast. While I appreciate your fondness for fiction, I find it difficult to believe that a story about an astronaut marooned on Mars could be all that compelling.
Well, Tim, I think you might have missed the point there. The Martian is not just about surviving on Mars. It's about ingenuity and perseverance in the face of overwhelming odds. It's a story about how one man can overcome incredible adversity with nothing but his own resourcefulness. Now, I know you like historical fiction, but this is still science fiction, which often deals with themes of problem solving and exploration. And in that regard, The Martian does an excellent job of engaging the viewer's imagination and making them think about what it would be like to be stranded on another planet. Plus, I thought Matt Damon gave a fantastic performance as Mark Watney. He managed to convey both the desperation of his situation and the humor that kept him going through some very dark times. And let's not forget the incredible visuals of Mars. I mean, who doesn't want to see what our neighboring planet looks like up close?
Thomas, I'll admit that the visuals of Mars in the film were indeed impressive and added a certain level of realism to the story. However, I found myself more engaged by the human element of the narrative, the way different characters reacted to Mark Watney's plight and worked together to bring him home. For example, the tension between NASA Director Teddy Sanders and his team was both compelling and realistic, as they had to balance political concerns with their desire to rescue one of their own. And I thought Jessica Chastain gave a particularly strong performance as Commander Melissa Lewis, who had to make some incredibly difficult decisions while navigating the turbulent waters of public opinion and internal politics. On the other hand, there were aspects of the plot that felt contrived or conveniently resolved. The idea that Mark Watney could grow enough potatoes in his makeshift greenhouse to sustain himself for years seemed a bit far-fetched, especially given the challenges he faced in creating an adequate growing environment. Similarly, the way in which NASA was able to divert resources and personnel towards rescuing Watney felt a bit implausible, considering the competing demands on their budget and staff.
Well, Tim, I can see where you're coming from with those concerns. However, I think it's important to remember that The Martian is primarily a work of fiction, and as such, some suspension of disbelief is necessary to enjoy the story. After all, we're talking about a movie in which an astronaut gets stranded on Mars in the first place. But let me address your points one by one. Firstly, I agree that the human element of the narrative was indeed compelling and well executed. The characters were complex and relatable, which made their struggles feel all the more real. And Jessica Chastain's performance was outstanding, as you mentioned. But I also think that the science fiction elements of the story added an extra layer of depth and interest. It allowed us to explore themes like isolation, survival, and ingenuity in a way that would be difficult to achieve with a more realistic or grounded premise. As for your concerns about implausibility, I'd argue that the film strikes a good balance between realism and dramatic license.
Yes.
Growing potatoes in Mars' harsh environment may seem far-fetched, but that's precisely what makes it so compelling as a narrative device. It forces us to confront the question of whether or not it's possible for human beings to adapt and survive under such extreme conditions. And while NASA's ability to divert resources towards rescuing Watney might seem improbable, the film does make an effort to explain this by showing how public opinion and political pressure can influence decision-making processes. In conclusion, Thomas, I think The Martian is a well-crafted and engaging film that manages to balance its science fiction elements with compelling characters and themes. While it may not be everyone's cup of tea, I found it to be an enjoyable and thought-provoking watch.
Well, Tom, I must say that while I didn't enjoy the film as much as you did, I can appreciate the effort that went into making it a reality. For instance, did you know that Ridley Scott initially wanted to cast Matt Damon and Jessica Chastain in the roles of Mark Watney and Melissa Lewis, respectively, even before he got his hands on the script? He was so confident in their abilities to bring these characters to life that he asked them to read the book and give him their thoughts. And as we all know, this decision paid off tremendously. Their on-screen chemistry is one of the highlights of The Martian.
That's a fascinating piece of trivia about the film, Timothy. I must admit, I didn't know that Scott had such faith in his lead actors. And speaking of which, did you know that during the filming of one particular scene where Damon's character is performing surgery on himself, he actually had to undergo a similar procedure just days beforehand? Apparently, the crew wanted to make sure that the blood and gore looked as realistic as possible. So they decided to inflict a small injury on Damon in order to capture genuine reactions for the scene. It just goes to show how committed these actors were to their roles.
My word, Tom, that's indeed incredible. I can only imagine how surreal that must have been for Matt Damon, going from being an actor playing a role to experiencing something so personal and intense just days before shooting such a pivotal scene. It certainly adds another layer of authenticity to the film.
Indeed it does, Tim. And speaking of layers, did you know that in addition to its impressive visual effects and compelling storyline, The Martian also features an incredible sound design? The filmmakers spent countless hours meticulously recording everyday sounds on Mars, like the wind howling and rocks crunching, in order to create an immersive auditory experience for viewers. It's these small details that really bring the film to life and make it feel so authentic.
That's quite impressive, Tom. I had no idea they went to such great lengths to replicate the sounds of Mars. It just goes to show how important all aspects of filmmaking are in creating a believable and immersive world for the audience. And with that said, Timothy, I think it's safe to say that The Martian is indeed a remarkable achievement in terms of both its storytelling and technical execution. Despite our differing opinions on the film itself, we can all appreciate the hard work and dedication that went into bringing Ridley Scott's vision to life.
Indeed, Tim. And speaking of remarkable achievements, let's not forget the incredible visual effects and filming techniques used in The Martian. The production team had their work cut out for them, as they were tasked with bringing to life a world that had never been filmed before. The harsh, otherworldly landscape of Mars itself. To achieve this feat, they employed a combination of traditional practical effects and cutting-edge digital technology. For instance, the film's exterior shots of Mars were captured using a unique blend of live-action footage and computer-generated imagery. The crew traveled to Wadi Rum in Jordan, where they filmed various landscapes and rock formations that closely resembled those found on Mars. This footage was then used as a base layer for the CG team to build upon, meticulously adding details like dust storms, craters, and outcroppings to create an eerily accurate representation of the red planet. In addition to these exterior shots, The Martian also features some truly stunning visual effects work in its interior scenes as well. One standout example is the scene where Matt Damon's character, Mark Watney, discovers a long-abandoned Mars base known as the Hermes, Ares' third habitat. To create this set piece, the production team built an enormous soundstage and filled it with towering sets that were designed to look like they had been left behind by previous Martian explorers. The attention to detail in these sets is simply astounding. From the worn-down control panels to the dusty footprints on the floor, every element helps to immerse the viewer in Watney's world. Perhaps most impressively, The Martian showcases some incredibly innovative filming techniques that were specifically designed to withstand the harsh conditions of a Mars simulation. For example, the crew used specialized cameras and lenses that were built to function in extreme temperatures and low-pressure environments. They also developed a unique lighting system that could mimic the red-tinted glow of Mars sunlight without causing any damage to the actors or equipment. In conclusion, Thomas, I think it's safe to say that The Martian is not only a triumph of storytelling, but also a testament to the incredible capabilities of modern filmmaking technology. From its stunning visual effects to its innovative filming techniques, this movie truly transports audiences to another world and leaves them in awe of the human spirit's ability to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds.
Well, said Tom. And speaking of remarkable achievements, let's not forget the incredible performances delivered by the cast of The Martian. As you mentioned earlier, Matt Damon and Jessica Chastain shared a wonderful on-screen chemistry that made their characters' relationship feel both authentic and compelling. But they were certainly not alone in their exceptional work. Axel Hennie, who played the character of Alex Vogel, also deserves special mention for his portrayal of an astronaut struggling with personal demons while trying to keep his team focused on the mission at hand. His performance was both emotionally charged and nuanced, adding depth to what could have been a one-dimensional role. And then there's Chiwetel Ejiofor, who played Vincent Kapoor, the head of NASA's Mars operations. His character went through quite the arc in the film, starting off as by the book bureaucrat and eventually evolving into someone who was willing to take risks for the greater good. Ejiofor brought a sense of gravitas and humanity to this role that made his character's transformation feel earned and genuine.
Indeed, Timothy. The Martian boasts an impressive ensemble cast, each bringing their A game to the table. And I think it's worth mentioning how well the actors were able to convey the sense of isolation and desperation that their characters experienced on Mars. From Watney's loneliness as he struggled to survive in a hostile environment to Lewis's despair over losing her crew member and having to make difficult decisions. The emotional weight of these performances is palpable throughout the film. Additionally, I found it fascinating how each character had their own unique way of coping with stress and uncertainty. Watney relied on his sense of humor and ingenuity, while Lewis turned inwards, reflecting on her past mistakes and finding solace in her work. This diversity among the characters helps to create a rich tapestry that adds depth and complexity to the narrative as a whole. In conclusion, Timothy, I think it's safe to say that The Martian is not only a technical marvel, but also a testament to the incredible talent of its cast and crew. From the stunning visual effects to the nuanced performances, this movie truly transports audiences to another world and leaves them in awe of what can be accomplished when creativity, determination, and teamwork converge.
Well, Tom, it seems that we can both agree on one thing. The Martian is a remarkable achievement in filmmaking. And speaking of remarkable, let's not forget how this film managed to captivate audiences across the globe and have a significant cultural impact. One of them, the reasons for its widespread appeal was undoubtedly its relatable themes, such as survival against all odds and the power of human ingenuity. These themes resonated with people from all walks of life, inspiring many to pursue their dreams and overcome adversity in their own lives. The Martian also sparked a renewed interest in space exploration and scientific innovation. The film showcased the incredible technological advancements that have been made in recent years, fueling conversations about the possibilities of human colonization on Mars and beyond. It encouraged young people to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, with many schools reporting an increase in enrollment for related programs after the film's release. Additionally, the film's success demonstrated the power of storytelling as a way to engage people with complex scientific concepts by blending elements of science fiction with compelling characters and a gripping narrative. The Martian managed to make rocket science accessible and enjoyable for audiences who might not have otherwise been interested in such topics.
Absolutely, Timothy. And it's worth mentioning that the film's cultural impact extended far. Beyond the realm of space exploration and scientific innovation, it also sparked discussions about themes like isolation, teamwork, and resilience. The Martian served as a reminder that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges, human beings are capable of extraordinary feats when we work together towards a common goal. This message of hope and unity resonated with audiences around the world, inspiring many to reflect on their own lives and relationships and consider how they might draw upon similar strengths in times of crisis. Furthermore, the film's portrayal of diverse characters from different cultural backgrounds helped to promote inclusivity and representation in media. By featuring actors like Chiwetel Ejiofor, Sebastian Stan, Kate Mara, and Axel Henny, The Martian sent a powerful message about the importance of diversity in STEM fields, as well as in popular culture more broadly. In conclusion, Thomas, I think it's safe to say that The Martian has had a profound cultural impact on audiences worldwide. It not only inspired a renewed interest in space exploration and scientific innovation, but also sparked conversations about themes like resilience, teamwork, and inclusivity. By blending elements of science fiction with compelling characters and a gripping narrative, the film managed to engage people from all walks of life and remind us of our shared humanity.
Well, Tom, it seems that we've come full circle in our discussion of The Martian. This film truly is an extraordinary achievement in every aspect, from its compelling storytelling and impressive visual effects to its thought-provoking themes and cultural impact. It's a testament to the power of cinema to inspire, educate, and entertain us all.
I couldn't agree more, Tim. The Martian is undoubtedly one of those rare films that transcend its genre and resonates with audiences on such a deep level. It's a reminder of what can be accomplished when talent, dedication, and vision come together to create something truly remarkable.
And speaking of remarkable, let's not forget the incredible response from our viewers.
We've received so many insightful comments and questions about this film.
which just goes to show how much it has resonated with people around the world. So, before we wrap up today's discussion, we have one final plea. If you enjoyed our podcast or found our conversation helpful in any way, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a comment below. We love hearing from our viewers, and your feedback means the world to us.
Exactly, Timothy. And thank you all for joining us on this journey through the Martian. We hope that you found our discussion informative and entertaining. Until next time, remember that even when it seems like everything is against you, never give up on your dreams or the power of human ingenuity. Keep exploring, keep learning, and most importantly, keep watching.